do we assert one, that voice and impact policy? Because at the end of the day, if these policies, like she said, are going to change the trajectory, the life expectancy, the quality of life of Black folks, I think everybody needs to take a stance and say something. It's powerful, more powerful when, if I say something compared to when the NAACP as a collective says something. So there's something to be, held about that.
Mhm.
We just got to get, some of these young bucks with the energy and the enthusiasm about today's technology and
Yeah.
that they can move in, because they move differently than we do. We
True.
have to recognize that
Yeah.
they got different things at their fingertips that they can fight and put information out way more expeditiously and just than we can.
Yeah.
And so I don't have that mindset. I can just say for myself, I don't have that mindset. I
Yeah.
need young folks, I need to be able to pass the mantle, pass the
Mhm.
torch,
Mhm.
the baton,
I thi
and we can't be mad at them if they mess up or if they have a hiccup, right? Because
Yeah.
the old school folks, they had lots of hiccups, and we
Yeah.
behaved them and we kept fighting.
So I think sometimes what happens too, because you're right, there needs to be a young influx of energy in all organizations that was started like in the early 1900s, or
Yes.
things change quickly. But I think sometimes with Black folks specifically, once we get a position of power, once we get that spot, man, we want to keep that spot. You got
Yeah.
to realize some of these brothers is coming from certain types of direct racism, their moms and grandparents being slaves. If I'm in control of something, sometimes it's difficult. And this is my opinion, family.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult for older Black people to relinquish control of something that's given them so much admiration, like they've gotten so much respect from it. So, yeah, I'm 72 and I may need to retire,
Yeah.
but y'all ain't gonna do it right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to leg way for that type of thing. And really, all politicians who position themselves this way, because look, if they're saying we don't like the policies that you're putting forth as Black people in this state, if your response is that's silly or whatever he said, whatever dismissive goddamn comment he just made,
Yeah.
this is real. This is why people don't trust you. And this makes it difficult to fight these uphill battles when you have men like this who are in control. And it's obvious you want to erase our history pretty much. You're not
Yeah.
giving a good explanation. 'Cause that's what I'll be looking for. Okay, you want to create this policy. Let me listen to this person talk about why they want to dismantle said thing. Let me see if it makes sense. And it never makes sense. So, Sonia, I mean, we need to look at not just Florida, because Homeboy said something very interesting to me at the beginning. He said sundown town. And I
Yes.
always talk about it.
We
He
talked
was
about
like,
that
I
last
want to
week.
make the state a sundown town. And that's real telling when you think about it,
Absolutely. And so people are not oblivious to there. I mean, there are folks out here who are aware and still alive to this day who experienced that firsthand. I
Hmm.
can remember my parents when we were younger. We took a trip. I tell you this quick story. We took a trip. I was in the 5th grade. My mom's father died. She's from Chicago. We couldn't afford to fly all of us back to Chicago. So we planned to drive. We drove in 2 vehicles, my uncle and his kids and his wife, my mom, stepdad, and my sister and I. And as we're driving state to state, I was in the 5th grade. My teacher, Miss Glover, love her to death. She said, you're going to be gone for at least, 2 or 3 weeks. Here's your assignment. In every state that you go to, I want you to write something about it, take a picture, get a postcard, do a math calculation, like calculate the distance that you travel. Tell me about the weather, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be math, science, English, and all of that, all into one little project. I can remember we got to Nebraska and we went into a gas station, and my sister and I had to use the bathroom. My sister, my little cousins had to use the bathroom. And the guy at the register said, those little niggas can't use the bathroom in here.
Oh, wait, Sonia, what year was that?
This had to be like 1981.
Damn.
So my mom gathered us and everything, and she was prepared. Like, she had heard the stories from her parents and grandparents, but had not, she'd been in California since she was 18, so she thought she left that kind of stuff behind, and that we had progressed as a complete nation. And so she was like, "Don't worry about it. We're gonna pull off on the side of the road. I'm gonna show y'all how to do a cop and a squat." But my uncle, who's a little, hot-headed, went back into the store, and all I can remember was looking, you know how you look as a kid, you looking in the window, out the window, seeing what's going on. And we had those roll down windows. We didn't have electric windows. And I heard my uncle go into the store and he just start knocking shit all off the couch, all shelves.
Rebel. Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes. When I hear stuff like that, I immediately ask the year, because I think some people get it fucked up and think when we talk overt racism, it's not a year thing.
Right.
It's still a location thing, family. Yeah. You can find yourself, like we was talking about the other day, you could be in a popping black city,
right,
and travel 25 minutes and gotta stop somewhere, and you get the nigga wake up call where when it's large, and we got to realize this, because when you say the 80s, that's close to the 70s and the 60s. So a lot of these places are still dealing with the residue. But in reality, it's the numbers thing. So if you go somewhere and they're in large numbers, they're emboldened. It almost does something to them when it's 90 of them and one of you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we need to be aware of that. And politicians who push things that obviously are going to be detrimental to people who look like me and you and just any brown person, any poor person. You know what I mean? It seems like it's more of a game than anything.
It was so sad because this was also during a time period where gas station, or at least old gas stations in the country, at least, you know, would have a gas attendant that would come out and pump your gas and that kind of stuff. So this particular gas station had a little boy that probably was around the same age as me. And as we were realizing that we needed to use the bathroom, I had started talking to the boy, and he was asking questions like, "Where are you from?" And when I said California, he was like, "Oh my gosh, when I get older, I want to go to California."
Oh man.
Sweetest kid ever. And when we were driving away, he's mouthing, "I'm sorry."
Oh,
I remember this verbatim.
Wow.
So
that's very interesting.
Generationally, we know that one, racism is passed down.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught from parent to child, grandparent to child, grandchild. But we also know that young kids can begin to internalize right from wrong and make choices for themselves. We just have to hope there are more allies that are coming out of this next generation, and then the next generation even more than that. And then so maybe that's the way that racism dies. Because if DeSantis, I don't know how young he is, but if he has it his way, be around at least in Florida for, you know, at least 20, 30 more years.
But I think also, Sonia, that very interesting what you stated. But and with that